You asked me what was dangerous about a game store. If you have a good look around, I think you'll be surprised. What can you see that's a danger in here?
Nothing.
Well, there's the door for a start. People can trap their fingers in them. And a glass door is a hazard in itself. It has to have a logo, a sticker or a poster on it so that people know it's a door. Glass doors are just too easy to walk into if there's no clues.
Yeah, but it's funny, isn't it?
Until you break your nose. And trips. One of the biggest accident areas is slips and trips. Any stock that's left lying around, cases, boxes, cellophane wrappers, leaflets, anything that can be left on the floor is a potential hazard because people can slip or trip on it. And when it rains, everything's twice as bad. I mean, the water makes floors really slippery. You only need one piece of paper out there, someone can fall, and you've got an accident claim.
Well, that's not good for the company, is it?
Nope.
So the answer is to keep everything tidy, make sure you don't leave any litter and stuff lying around.
Yeah, and if you spill a drink or anything like that, just make sure you clean it up after yourself. And cables and doormats, they're an obvious hazard. So you can't run cables along the floor.
Except when you're hoovering.
No, including when you're hoovering. You just can't run cables across an open shop.
Okay, now I've been looking around while you've been going on, and I've noticed a few possible dangers myself.
Go on then.
Okay, we'll take this guy for example. He's putting up a display in the window, so he's hanging stuff up and making it look nice, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, he's up on a stepladder, he's got scissors, tape, posters, loads of stuff, and he's in a really small area next to a massive sheet of glass.
It's a really good example. I mean, I don't think we've ever had anyone actually fall through a pane of glass, but we have had people kneel on broken glass. And step ladders, they're really dangerous, they're really easy to slip off. Which brings us on to another area, so if you just want to follow me a minute. Out here in the back, things can get stacked up really high, so there's a few rules to remember.
Like what?
Like, don't climb on the racking, always use a ladder.
Okay.
And make sure you check the ladder is in good working order before you get up it, all
Right.
And don't lift anything too heavy, make sure you get help. And obviously don't stack boxes so high that when you pull one out, it's likely to fall on top of you, because that's not going to do you any good or the product any good either.
Okay. Are there any, like, special regulations for lifting boxes?
Oh, not really. You just shouldn't lift anything that you don't think you can manage on your own. Just make sure you get help.
Right.
So, come on, Colin, give us a hand.
Right then. Well, I bend over, I put my hands on either side of the box and lift. Ah! Only kidding.
Colin, that was awful. Make sure that your feet are quite near the box so that you don't overreach.
Right.
Making sure they're slightly apart. You bend down using your knees.
Right.
Take the box either side, and it's really important to remember that you don't lift any more than you can manage.
Okay.
Keeping your back straight, you
Yep.
stand up. You use the power in your legs, not in your back, to lift the box. And always make sure you know where you're going to put the box before you lift it. So this one's going over there.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Now, that isn't the way just to lift heavy boxes, that's the way to lift anything.
Okay, enough lifting boxes. It's too much like hard work. Okay. Is there anything else that could be dangerous in the store?
Yeah, let's go and have a look.
Okay. Right, let's have a look in here. What about this bleach? That can be nasty, can't it?
Yeah. Now, there's a piece of legislation called COSH, which is used to control harmful and hazardous substances. Now, there's little in our stores covered by COSH, but anything harmful like bleach would have to be handled properly. So, let's just say you got this bleach in your eye. What would you do?
Panic?
No, really, Colin, what would you do?
I'd probably stick my head under the nearest tap.
Yeah, and you'd be right to wash it out. If you'd got any doubts, then you could go to the doctor. But there's something else we have to do.
Go on.
Any incident that affects our health has to be recorded. Any accident or sickness which relates to what we're doing at work has to go in the accident book. Now, it's not just the company keeping check on us, it's the law.
Well, if it's that important, then we ought to go through how to do it. Let's say, for example, a customer walks into the store, falls over, and then catches their arm on some shelving. Now, they're not badly hurt, but they're probably pretty shaken up.
Yeah, well, the manager would make sure the customer was okay and console them. And then he'd have to complete the accident book.
Right.
So he'd have to fill out the time, the date, the name of the customer, and a brief description of what happened and any staff who were present and what the consequences were. Then the manager would have to phone HR and report the accident. And he'd do this for any moderate incident.
Anything more serious than a paper cut?
Yeah, that way the company are doing what they have to do to be legal. Now, we can hear a bit more about it from head office.
Okay.
Basically, there's government legislation. So Game as an organisation and as an employer has a legal responsibility to report accidents that result in serious injuries or dangerous occurrences that occur within our premises. It's the same for if it's a customer or an employee. For example, if an employee has an accident at work and breaks his arm and he's off work for more than 3 actual days as opposed to 3 working days, we have a legal responsibility to report that to the Health and Safety Executive. It is important that everybody does fill in the form. It is a simple form to fill in. It would take about 10 to 15 minutes. But it's also a preventative measure to help us reduce the risk of any accidents like that occurring in the future.
Everything about health and safety is common sense. And although it may seem dull,
Which it is.
okay, although it's a bit dull, the company has a responsibility to us and our customers.
And we have a responsibility to ourselves, each other, our customers and the company.
You got it! So as long as we use our common sense and we're all careful, then there won't be any accidents. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen in a game store?